This week,
a deep dive into the results of the mock election.
Theater wraps up its fall production as Matt and Ben hits the stage.
A distinguished award for a deserving English teacher.
And our Executive Strive producer, John Willis, brings the latest sports updates, all here on the MWHS Wildcat News. Good morning, I'm Edison Geiler.
And I'm Emma Baker.
We begin with fulfilling our promise from last week. As key battleground states finished counting their votes, news outlets projected former Vice President Joseph R. Biden defeating incumbent President Donald J. Trump for control of the White House.
The Political Roundtable Club's mock election did predict the winner of the presidency and Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse retaining his seat. However, Cara Eastman lost to Representative Don Bacon in a close race.
Here with the coverage of this past week's national and school-wide election results, Miguel Paredes-Reyes and Camille O'Neill.
With a country further divided between left and right, the 2020 election will go down as one of the most influential in American history. Although the majority of the Millard West population won't be able to vote in this election, the Millard West mock election is a great way to capture the school's opinion on the modern political climate.
Every 4 years, since probably 2000, maybe 2004, we've done a mock election at Millard West, which traditionally used to be a paper and pencil physical ballot experience with, cardboard voting booths and physical counting with one Democratic student checking each ballot, one Republican student checking each ballot. Now, of course, with the pandemic, we're switching over to Google Forms, but we're really excited about 2020.
I kept seeing posters around the school for the mock election, so I thought it was important that I put my input into it for the data of the schools.
The mock election was set up by Political Roundtable and was a major talking point in the club leading up to the election.
We went over, the mock election during our meetings, and we really just put it out to see what the students thought the election was going to play out.
The presidential election ended in a Joe Biden victory as projected by the Associated Press and correctly predicted by the results of the mock election. States are already working on ballot certification and making sure all eligible ballots are counted fairly. As for the local elections, the mock election correctly predicted one of the elections, that being Ben Sasse remaining as the Nebraska Senator. Don Bacon was picked to lose to Cara Eastman in the mock election, but prevailed in the real election. And Rich Pauls is elected over Tim Royers for the state legislator. Reporting for the MWHS Wildcat News, this has been Miguel Paredes-Reyes and Camille O'Neill.
President Trump has yet to concede the election, with his legal team filing lawsuits in numerous states with close counts. Expect an official election winner to be determined later in the month.
Speaking of November, it is Native American Heritage Month, which Justice and Diversity League is celebrating by presenting elements of the cultures of Indigenous people of the Great Plains, raising awareness for the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women organization, and displaying information about influential Native Americans on posters outside the library. We will provide updates about Justice and Diversity League's plans as the month continues.
Some other posters you may have seen around the building have an outline of a tuxedo and a beanie. No, these are not invitations to a winter dance, but rather the theater department's fall production, Matt and Ben. The Mindy Kaling and Brenda Withers play focuses on a young Matt Damon and Ben Affleck as they write their Oscar-winning screenplay Good Will Hunting. 4 actors, split into 2 different casts, performed for the first time over the weekend during the COVID-19 pandemic. Here with the story, Dana Summers and Anna Blumenthal.
On the nights of November 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, the drama department performed the play titled Matt and Ben.
I will lay you down, Jenny Warren! I'm not kidding. Meet me in the parking lot after the show.
This 2-person play, written by Mindy Kaling and Brenda Withers, follows Hollywood stars Matt Damon and Ben Affleck as they write the screenplay for the movie Good Will Hunting.
We were trying to work with this theme of things that have made people's worlds get all crazy, because that's what sort of COVID has done to us. So in Matt and Ben, this script falls from the sky and it turns their world upside down. And so it fit with the theme, and that's why I picked it.
The play focuses on the difficult dynamic between Matt and Ben and how their differences affect their work.
It focuses a lot on just the difficult relationship between Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And so it has a lot of subtext and a lot of dramatic elements that I need to make sure as an actor I'm conveying well to the audience.
Along with the cast, members of the crew also had to work to convey the story to the audience. Props crew had the difficult task of finding every single item needed for the show and styling them to fit the theme.
We had a list of all the props we needed, but then we were like, what else would frat guys have in their house? So we started listing off a bunch of things, and we tried finding a bunch of things. The funniest thing we found was a skeleton. I thought that was really cool.
In order to get more actors involved due to limited performance opportunities this year, the production used 2 different casts that switched off performance nights.
We had about a 2.5 to 3 month period of rehearsals, and every day we would kind of switch off. So one group would be on stage performing, the other one would be in the black box performing.
While the characters are 2 males, the play was intended to be performed by 2 female actresses. Therefore, the cast attended weekly gender workshops in order to portray the different gender stereotypes.
There's a lot of discussion and analysis happening around gender these days. I think our understanding of gender has changed a little bit. But one of the sort of quirks and delights of this show is it is actually written for 2 female performers, even though the characters are male. So it's a purposeful gender swap.
Matt and Ben kicked off the drama season with a hit, and the drama department hopes for more exciting performance opportunities in the future. This has been Anna Blumenthal and Dana Summers with the MWHS Wildcat News.
Also over the weekend, Forensics had their first competition of their season entirely on Zoom. Senior Robert Russell and freshman Olivia Ray stood out with wins in Extemp and Impromptu and Entertainment and HI respectively. The team ended with a tie for runner-up in sweeps. Congratulations to all the members of the Forensics team for a successful first meet. Switching to the English department, the National Society of High School Scholars recognized English teacher Michael Catron for the Clay's Nobel Educator Distinction Award. Nominated by senior Himanshu Gandhi, Catron teaches AP Lang, AP Lit, Creative Writing, and English 11. This award comes after 16 years of working at West. Here are Miguel Paredes Reyes and Tenley Wright to bring you the details.
Well, and this is just a writing thing, right? Historical and biblical allusions, that's true, right? Jefferson, Jesus, all that, right?
On October 9th, English teacher Michael Catron was selected as the Claus Nobel Educator of Distinction by the National Society of High School Scholars. Catron was nominated by one of his former students, senior Himanshu Gandhi.
I'm part of something called the National Society of High School Scholars, and they said if you know any teachers that you want to nominate for this award, then we highly recommend you do so. So I was like, yeah, Mr. Catron definitely deserves that.
This award recognizes educators for their outstanding dedication to inspire their students to grow and develop both inside the classroom and out in the community.
The information I received indicates that teachers who are nominated can apply for grants from the same organization that provides the Nobel Prizes. I'm much more interested, I guess, in just having sort of evidence of a student carrying something they learned in class with them. So it's just kind of nice to have a little certificate and a sticker to be reminded of doing good in the world, I guess.
Catron's extensive teaching career just adds another reason as to why he deserves this award. In addition to the 16 years as an educator at Millard West, he has also taught in Lincoln and Japan.
Mr. Catron will plan every lesson with the best interest of the students in mind. The way he questions students and challenges them to think he puts a lot of effort into making sure that they're learning and growing, and he takes it very seriously. And I always tell him I'm jealous that I didn't get to have him as a teacher in high school. He's fun to learn from. He makes it fun, but he puts a lot of hard work into making sure that that's a quality instruction for our students.
What sets Catron apart from the other teachers is he prepares his students for not only tests and exams, but sets them up for a successful future.
I like to think that students who leave my classes, especially AP Lang and Comp, feel that they have agency, that they're able to do research and engage with the world, to ask meaningful questions, and to author projects, text, video, art, whatever, that bring about meaningful change to the world they live in, make the world a better place.
For the MWHS Wildcat News, this has been Miguel Paredes and Tinley Wright, signing off.
Before we turn it over, some of our student athletes signed letters of intent making their choices for which colleges they would be attending to continue their athletic and academic careers. We will have more coverage next week, but for right now, we are going to hand it over to Executive Strive producer John Willis with a brand new Sports Corner. Over to you, John.
Thank you, Edison. Let's get started. First off, this past Friday, the Millard West varsity volleyball team season ended in the semifinal round of the Class A NSAA state volleyball tournament. After upsetting the number 3 Lincoln Pius Thunderbolts in a 5-set thriller in the quarterfinals, the Wildcats were swept by the number 2 ranked Papillion La Vista South Titans. Millard West finished the year 23-9. This was their 10th consecutive state tournament appearance and their first time making it past the first round since 2014. The Millard West hockey team started their season on October 28th against Millard North. It's been a tough start to the year, losing all 3 games. After losing their season opener to the Mustangs 3-0, they have also added losses to Fremont and Westside, both in close games. Due to COVID issues, the team has not been able to play for roughly a week, and it is unknown when they will be back on the ice. The unified bowling season has also gotten underway for the Wildcats. To open out the year, Millard West competed in the MPS Triangular and finished in 3rd place. They have also beat Ralston and took 3rd and 5th place in the single elimination tournament that the Wildcats hosted. The varsity football team's season ended on October 30th in a 21-7 loss against rival Millard South in the 2nd round of the playoffs. It was a tough year for the Wildcats, finishing 2-7. Injuries plagued this team throughout the year, especially to senior quarterback Jacob Jones and senior running back Zach Coleman. Miguel Paredes Reyes and Tenley Wright report on these major injuries that hurt the Wildcats this year and how these 2 players plan to come back.
Hopes are high for the Millard West football team going into the 2020 season. After a deep playoff run in 2019, they hope to take another shot at it with senior quarterback Jacob Jones and senior running back Zach Coleman running the show. Unfortunately for the Wildcats, both went down with injuries early on.
We were kind of just driving up the field, and I guess I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's as best as I can say.
Zach Coleman's down on the floor and he's not getting up.
I broke my fibula and then had some ligament damage in my ankle, and that was the first time I've ever really had a true leg injury.
The team was still down on their luck going into a Week 5 matchup against Creighton Prep. Jones, who had already torn the meniscus in his right leg, went down with another injury on a 3-and-out drive in the 3rd quarter.
I tore my ACL and then my medial meniscus in my left knee. We were actually doing really good. Going into halftime, we had a good lead. And then coming out 3rd quarter, we wanted to go out strong, get a good drive, and just unfortunate events. When I got tackled, my leg got wrapped up and it just twisted and everything just tore and I got injured.
A season-ending injury can take a huge toll on a player's mental health. Even though the situation was less than ideal, Jones and Coleman had to make sure to keep their heads up.
They are a part of our team still. They come out to practice every day. If they need anything, whatever they need, they can ask. You play Millard West football in your family, and that extends past your 4 years here as well.
The fact that both these injuries happen in their senior season will have a major impact on whether or not they will be able to play in the future. Both seniors plan to return to the field in college.
Both those gentlemen, Zach and Jacob, They're very determined, I think, to play at that next level. Their work ethics are impeccable. So if they want that opportunity to play at the next level in college and play football and continue their careers, they're going to be able to do that.
These players are making huge strides in order to recover mentally and physically in order to prepare for the next stage in their athletic careers.
There was almost no sadness. It was just more of just trying to go to the next step of like, what can we do to heal fastest, just being supportive and that kind of stuff.
We wish both these seniors luck as they overcome their injuries and hope to see them back on the field soon. This has been Miguel Paredes and Tinley Wright, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Sports Corner. Winter sports start practicing this upcoming Monday. This has been John Willis signing off.
Thank you, John. That's all for this week. Make sure to follow us on social media, visit our website, and check out our previous broadcast. With the MWHS Wildcat News, this has been Emma Baker
and Edison Geiler. We'll see you next week.